Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here to update a homicide investigation that happened with our officers' involvement on Friday, and we're here to give you some updated information on that. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ted White, the Public Information Manager for the Delray Beach Police Department. Today you will hear from two people, our Chief of Police, Chief Russ Major, R-U-S-S-M-A-G-E-R, Russ Major, Chief of Police for the Delray Beach Police Department. You will also hear from Sergeant Casey Kelly, Sergeant Casey, C-A-S-E-Y, Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y. Delray Beach Police Chief Russ Major.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Chief Russ Major. I'm the Chief of the Delray Beach Police Department, and we are asking for the public's assistance in a recent homicide that occurred last week. On July 21st, we were called to the 1000 block of Palm Trail in the Intracoastal Waterway where somebody was reporting a suitcase with what was believed to be the human remains hanging outside the suitcase floating within the Intracoastal Waterway. Officers and detectives responded and were able to corroborate that it was in fact human remains that were protruding from this particular suitcase. Within a few hours of this particular call, we had received two other calls regarding other suitcases that were floating just south of this location. There were two other suitcases found within a few hours of the original call. We were able to determine that the remains within this suitcase, the two suitcases, were actually human remains as well, and all three suitcases were deemed to be the same person, the same victim as the original suitcase that was found. We contacted the medical examiner's office, and they came out to assist with the investigation, and they're also doing the autopsy on this particular case. If you have any information that relates to this investigation, we would appreciate your assistance and feedback. No information is too small. We're requesting help from the community and anyone that may have information in this case. I'm now going to introduce Sergeant Casey Kelly, who is the investigator, the lead supervisor on this case, and he'll be providing the details and answering any questions that you all may have as it relates to this investigation.
Thank you, Chief. I'm just going to elaborate a little bit on the investigation. We're estimating our female victim is somewhere between 35 and 55 years of age. She is either Caucasian or Latin American. She's roughly 5'4" with brown hair and may have tattooed eyebrows. She was found wearing a floral tank top, pictured beside me, with a black camisole shirt underneath and black shorts. The brand of the floral top is Betsabi, which is unique, we believe, and from what we can tell is a Brazilian company. Based on the victim's condition, we believe the time frame in which she was put into the water to be between Monday, July 17th, and the early morning hours of Thursday, July 20th. We're asking for the public's help with reviewing video surveillance cameras during that time frame. We ask that you specifically look for unusual vehicles or people, and certainly anyone carrying or moving luggage. The area of interest is between the Linton Boulevard Bridge and the north end Delray Beach city limits along the Intercoastal Waterway. Detective Michael Laberta is the lead investigator for this case, and all tips and information should be directed to his phone line, which I'm going to provide. 561-243-7874. Again, 561-243-7874. I will open the floor up for any questions. Just understand that the case is very sensitive, so I will be limited in my responses.
Is there a missing person that would match that description?
We are certainly looking into that, but we have not discovered that as of yet.
What is your reaction to somebody finding suitcases with human remains?
It's certainly troubling, but we're looking into, the investigation is very early in its stages.
Is there a reward offered?
Not as of yet.
Are you considering offering a reward?
We're considering all things.
How was the woman killed?
That's a sensitive case information that I won't answer at this point.
Were all the parts of her body found in the three suitcases, or was anything missing?
We have determined that all the parts that we have are of one victim, but I won't answer specifics on which parts we have or which ones were found in which cases.
This is quite gruesome.
Certainly, I would agree with you.
Of a woman's body found in three separate suitcases, it's very gruesome.
I would agree with you.
And so, any thoughts on, or any warnings out to the public as to maybe someone could be out there who did this?
So from what we can tell, we believe it to be an isolated incident, and that's the gist of what I can provide at this point.
Are you also asking for the public's help and maybe if their loved one hasn't answered the phone or there's got to be someone missing?
Certainly. So we've put out a press release with the initial information on social media, and we did provide a tip line, which again is Detective Liberta's number. So we have received information over the weekend, but we're looking into every single lead.
Is there a thought that this would involve human trafficking, drugs, or domestic violence?
We don't have anything that would indicate either of those just yet.
Color of her hair?
Sorry.
Any surveillance video cameras that you've been able to glean in terms of getting some information on what's going on through that?
So the stretch of waterway is very large, and that's part of why we're meeting today and asking for the public's help to review some of that. We have started that, but it's a very daunting task. So we're asking for the public to do some of that legwork for us and to please call in anything that they would find unusual on video surveillance during the time frame that we gave. Sorry.
And based on the current, could this person be from another county? Could it have floated there?
We wouldn't count that out, but we don't believe that she entered the waterway in another county necessarily, but I wouldn't discount that necessarily.
And do we have a color of her hair or any other distinguishing marks on her other than the tattooed eyebrows?
We think a light brown is our hair color. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you tell us anything about who found the body? One of those areas with heavy construction taking place there. Can you give us any information?
From the first call, I believe was a construction worker in the area that found the first suitcase. But outside of that, there were a few different locations that people have found different cases.
You said part of the human remains were sticking out of the suitcases. What part was sticking out?
I don't want to get into specifics about which part found where sticking out.
And you said a long stretch from the Linton Boulevard Bridge to the north end of the city. How long?
George Bush Boulevard Bridge. So there's Linton, Atlantic, and George Bush. So that's the stretch of waterway we're looking at.
Between the Linton Bridge and the
George Bush Boulevard Bridge.
And how is that? Is that a couple of miles or half a mile? You know?
I would say roughly
Why do you think that's the area where the suitcases were in the water?
that. I don't know where the suitcase is necessarily placed into the water. That's what we're looking into, and that's what we're asking the public for. I'm telling you that is the area that we'd like the public to focus on. That is where we have covered the remains.
Does the current in the water flow southward or north?
Just based on some information we got in different cases.
You said a part of the human remains were sticking out of one of the suitcases. What part was sticking out?
I don't want to get into specifics about which part was found where or sticking out.
And you said there's a long stretch from the Linton Boulevard Bridge to the north end of the city. How long?
George Bush Boulevard Bridge. So there's Linton, Atlantic, and George Bush. So that's the stretch of waterway that we're looking at.
Between the Linton Bridge and the
George Bush Boulevard Bridge.
And how far is that? Is that a couple of miles or half a mile, or do you know?
I would say roughly a mile.
Why do you think that's the area where the suitcases were placed in the water?
I didn't say that. I don't know where the suitcases were necessarily placed into the water. That's what we're looking into, and that's what we're asking the public's help for. I'm just telling you that is the area that we'd like the public to focus on, because that is where we have recovered the remains.
Does the current in the waterway flow southward or northward?
Just based on some information that we got from the Coast Guard who assisted us, it could have gone in both directions at any point in our coastal.
Three more questions.
Can you explain the markings on the board there?
The markings are the first, the suitcases that we found on Friday. So one
You
is...
can walk up to it.
Certainly.
Walk up to it.
Okay. So just trying to orient myself here. This is going to be the Palm Trail, and this is the first suitcase. And then the second and third suitcases were found relatively close on Southeast 7th Avenue. I'm just giving you general areas. These are obviously in the water. And then the other one in Casarina Road.
Can you tell me this? The make and model, is that a possibility of knowing what the suitcase types were?
We're not prepared to release that sensitive information. Sorry.
So you said she was put in the water sometime after Monday. Do you think she was killed then too, or was she dead for a while perhaps before she was put in the suitcases, then put in the water?
That's a good question. We're not certain.
And the conditions of the body are like, still the parts and everything not on decomposition or still?
They were in the early stages of decomposition.
Okay.
So
How hopeful are you that you can solve this? It seems like it's going to be nearly impossible.
we're very hopeful. We've got a great team working together. We're following up on any leads, but we are asking for the public's help to generate some more leads
Why are you hopeful? Why are you hopeful?
because we have a very good team put together.
When's the last time something like this has happened here in Delray Beach?
I think it was before my time. I can't speak on the exact year, but at least a decade or more.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
so
We'll
All right.
begin in the next couple of minutes with a similar press conference for Spanish-speaking stations. Thank you.
Thank you.